Hi there guys, lots to bring you this week on Apple Views. As you would believe, it's been a busy week and we've got so many stories, including stories about lessons coming back to Apple stores, foldable phones, and also, of course, the first Apple event of the year. So let's get into it, shall we? Apart from all the big headline stories of the week, I've got some other lesser well-covered stories that I'll be bringing you on this week's Apple View. So it's important that you get subscribed to never miss another one of these videos. You watch YouTube enough, you know what to do. The buttons are just down there. A like would be fantastic if you're enjoying the videos, and turn on the notifications on the bell to make sure you never miss another one of these videos. Okay, let's get into some news, shall we? One of the bits of kit that we're expecting to see at next week's peak performance event from Apple is going to be a 5G iPhone. It's meant to be based, of course, on an existing model, an older model, so just bear with me for a moment. It's something I first read in Mark Gurman's Power On newsletter, and it kind of just got me thinking. Years ago, Steve Jobs came up with the phrase, "Don't ship junk," and forever now, Apple has been known as being the seller of premium products, of high-end products, something we all desire, something that we all want, which is fine, and they've achieved that. They sure have achieved that, but just for a moment, imagine, rather than going at the normal kind of $300 to $400 range with this phone, imagine if they went dirt cheap. Imagine if they really sliced the bottom out of it and went in, say, at $200. Now, given that the phone they're going to be basing this on, all the R&D has been paid for. It's a done deal for them. It's sitting there just to make money out of. They could, if they wanted, sell this phone at $200. Bear with, there's a reason to be saying this. They could then try and get into markets that at the moment are more Android-driven markets, such as South Africa, Africa, India, some of the Asia continent. They could try and get iPhone into those continents. Of course, it's not just the selling of the iPhone itself. It goes on from there. They buy into the ecosystem. Next, they may want an iPad or an Apple Watch. They'll buy apps from the App Store. And so it goes on and on and on. You don't need me to tell you about the ecosystem from Apple. But just think for a moment, if they were to ship this phone at a ridiculously bargain price, it makes some sense, you've got to say. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below this video. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can do that, david@talkingtechandaudio.com. And if you go over to the website, which is talkingtechandaudio.com, you can leave me your details there to become part of the members mailing list. Foldables and Apple just do not go hand in glove, do they? They just don't seem a happy marriage. The foldable phone has now been put back until 2025 at least. If they were to come to market at that point in time, there will have been foldable phones around for 5, 6, 7 years that will already have marched a storm on them. Apple like to be seen as innovators, never playing catch up, so I don't see why they would come to market so late with a foldable phone. And as if that wasn't enough, last week Screen Man Ross Young told us that they were also working on a foldable kind of iMac or iPad. I don't know if you saw the pictures of it. It's odd and it's ugly and it's not something I'd ever want to buy. And it just doesn't seem to fit in with Apple. They've always walked away from a touchscreen MacBook, so why would they do this? And also, the idea being that it's going to be a 20-inch iPad, so the bottom would sit flat on the desk, the top would fold up, you would type on the iPad and look at the screen and touch the screen. Well, as I say, Apple have always run away from a touchscreen MacBook of any kind. Typing with the keyboard on an iPad has never been the best experience, so I just don't see it. Again, I don't think this is something that necessarily Apple are thinking of bringing to market. I think they're just flexing, showing what they could do, showing where their brain may have been at one point, but I don't necessarily think it's ever going to happen again. But it's just made me laugh. I just think foldables and Apple is not going to happen, is it? Let's face it. If you want foldable, Apple just ain't your thing. On to lessons in store now and kind of COVID news. As the incidence and case of COVID greatly recede, certainly in the US, some of the states now have got no local mandates that you have to wear masks in public. Apple have announced they will be, once again, reintroducing lessons and classes in store across the states, certainly in states that don't have any of those local mandates that I just mentioned about. Now, all of the Apple staff will be wearing masks. There'll be masks in store that they will offer to you as a client and a customer when you go in, but you're not forced to wear one. It's just something they will offer you. But it's great news that those lessons are coming back, because I tell you what, years ago when I got into the world of Apple, it's almost embarrassing to admit, but I started off by having lessons. I used to go into store every Sunday morning and have lessons in Keynote and Pages and Numbers. I just wanted to make sure I was using Macs correctly. That's me all over. I can't help it. Hate me. But anyway, I'm glad to see that those lessons are coming back. And I'm assuming that if they're going to start in the States, they will also be starting globally, and hopefully here in the UK. In-store lessons will once again be a thing that you can get into. And if you're looking to hook up with me on Twitter, really simple, it's D Talking Tech. So we now know that the first event of the year is confirmed. It is 8th March, as we had been led to believe, and it will stream at 10 a.m. PST, or if you're over here in the UK, that'd be 6 p.m. in the evening. Of course, I'll be in front of my Mac watching it, and I'll be sure to bring you all of the news after the stream has gone out. We kind of think we're getting the iPad Air, we kind of think we're getting the iPhone 5G SE, but also being called peak performance, does that mean we're going to get some of those powerful Macs they talked about? Maybe the iMac Pro, maybe the Mac Pro, maybe it's the Mac Minis with M2 inside it. I think that's a good shoe-in. Will we get displays to go along with the Mac Minis? Oh, that would be a dream come true. All will be revealed very soon indeed. So as I say, make sure you put Tuesday 8th March in your diary. It's 6 p.m. here in the UK, 10 a.m. PST. And of course, everybody's gone mad trying to work out what the artwork on the invite meant. The fact that there's an AR logo which displays 6 of the original colours from the first Apple logo. People are deep diving as to what that can mean. If anything, I think the term peak performance means we are going to get something Mac related, but it's really not long to wait now, is it? I am excited, more so almost in Christmas. Is that wrong? Twitter, it would seem, are quite keen to get into podcasts. Of course, a few years ago, they released Spaces Audio, and that went down really well, far better than even their wildest dreams could have expected. Well, now it looks like they are thinking of launching their very own podcast platform. And already on the Twitter app, deep hidden within it, there is a tab that says podcast. It was discovered by reporter Jane Manchin-Wong. Doesn't give us a lot of details just at the moment, but it does show that they are quite serious about their intent to move towards podcasting, possibly. And of course, if they do decide to get into that area, well, it'll just be another platform that I need to send my podcast to. That was a shameless plug. I'm sorry. That was awful. But there you go. It's called Minus 16. We talk about all things Apple just like we are here. And if you want to listen to it, there'll be links to it in the description to this video. But it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, and it's on Spotify as well. And if you listen to it on Apple, do give me a rating review. It really does help me out. So yes, Twitter may be getting into podcasting. You can't be oblivious, obviously, to the war that's currently going on in Russia. And this week, Apple got behind other world leaders and politicians to make sure that their view and stance was clearly seen. And last week, they released a statement saying that they have paused all product sales in Russia. Not only that, they have also removed RT News and Sputnik from the app inside of Russia. So Apple have done the right thing and have got behind the weight of governments around the world trying to boycott Russia and make economic sanctions against them. A new watch OS came out this week for Apple Watches. It's the 8.5 release, and it is tedious. There's no other way of putting it. There's not a lot in there. You get some new emojis, basically. You get heart hands and biting lips. Kind of a lot. So if you've got an Apple Watch, don't get too excited, but there will be a new OS coming out within the next few weeks. It's in beta version at the moment for all developers, which means it shouldn't be too long until you guys get it installed on your watches. And by the way, I've got more Apple Watch news coming in just a few moments' time as well. Do you realise it's 10 years ago that Phil Schiller walked on stage and gave us the Lightning cable? At the time, it was touted as being the modern connector for the next decade. Never really worked out, did it? Of course, iPhones are the last thing left with a Lightning connector on them now. Everything else has turned to USB-C. It's almost like, if you can think back, if you're as old as I am and you can think back to videos when Beta were out and then VHS kind of stole their thunder, it's like that really. The Lightning connector never really caught on. It's a pain to all of us now. It's the only thing on the desk that needs a Lightning connector. And to be honest, the chance of it coming off of the iPhone are slim. I think there's more chances of having a portless phone and only having wireless charging than there is of having USB-C on an iPhone. But anyway, it was 10 years ago that came out. Of course, it was on the back of the 32-pin connector that we'd all got so used to. Suddenly this great new plug came along. We were all very excited about it. But again, turns out it was a bit of an albatross. And like all of you, I can't wait to see the damn thing leave us. Phil Schiller, where are you now? He's semi-retired, you know. I'm not saying it's because of the Lightning cable. Just saying. So I've got some sports news and Apple TV news for you now. It would seem that Apple are maybe going to get into the streaming live sports. They're keen to win over the rights for the NFL Sunday ticket games. They go out live on a Sunday afternoon over in the States. If you've watched the Super Bowl recently, you'll know it's big, big business, not only in the States, but globally. They're not alone in wanting to win these rights though. Amazon and Disney also want them to. $2 billion is the kind of money that's being spoken about just at the moment. And if Apple did win those rights, I can't see that they'd give it away free with their standard Apple package. I'm assuming it would be a premium pack you'd have to pay extra for. If they spent $2 billion, they've got to recoup their money somehow. But I guess it would not only be big in the States, it would be big worldwide for all Apple TV users. And of real interest is if they go into live football, maybe other live sporting events might interest them as well. Tennis, motor racing, who knows where it's going to go. I think also they're looking at baseball as well. So to start with, I think they're focusing on big American sports. Then maybe they'll look for more live sporting events around the world, maybe even boxing. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and also get in touch with me, which you can do by DMing me on Twitter as well. So I've got just a few more stories to bring you this week. I told you there was lots to get through, and the first of those stories is notches. Really? Notches. Are they a thing? Is it something you're really concerned about? It doesn't worry me too much, I've got to say. They've been on my iPhone forever and a day. I've never really given it a look until people started moaning about it. Anyway, by the by, going by some renders that John Prosser came by last week that were first found on a Korean blogging site called Weibo, it looks like the notches are going to be a lot bigger than were first anticipated on the iPhone 14, and they're pretty ugly. If notches are not your thing, you're not going to be happy with how these phones are looking, that's for sure. One other change of direction is that the notches, the pull and punch idea, the hold and punch, were only going to be on the Pro range. It now looks like it's going to be on all of iPhone 14, which I suppose from a tooling point of view makes sense. But what's your thoughts on the notches? Does it worry you? And does this new design really get your blood pressure up? It's not a big thing, but anyway, it looks like it's going to be across all of iPhone 14. That of course is due for release in the autumn or fall of this year, and it's going to be big as well. So just get used to it. I said I had some more Apple Watch news for you, and it's bargain time. If you're looking to buy an Apple Watch 7, there are some great savings to be made just at the moment. You need to head to Amazon right now, go to the category page for Apple Watches, and there you'll find some great deals. They're certainly available in the States. I think they're available in select other cities around the world as well. One of the great models I saw was the 41mm GPS Apple Watch 7, which was available in multiple colours, so you can take your pick, and there were some great savings to be made. They were available in GPS and cellular models, so get on over to the category page for Apple Watches on Amazon right now and bag yourself a bargain. You can thank me later. Just as it seemed that supply chain issues were easing up and things were going back to normal, I've got a little bit of bad news for you in that the global demand for chips still way exceeds supply. One of the biggest suppliers, TSMC, in fact, has got serious about this now, and they're investing in a brand new state-of-the-art factory. It starts work in April. I don't know quite how long it's going to take to build, but there is still such a demand for chips, be it in the computer market or in the car market, of course, that something had to be done. It's particularly the 28nm product that's in huge demand, and as I say, TSMC are working hard to try and meet those demands by building this brand new factory. Let's hope things sometime get back to normal. Just one more story for you this week, I'm afraid, guys, and it's to do with, well, I was going to say holidays. It's not holidays, that's unfair. It's to do with the working from home mandate. As COVID restrictions lift in the States and around the world, Google this week told their employees they're expected to be back at their physical desks on the 4th of April. They are based in the Santa Clara County over in California, which is the same county that Apple have their Apple Park in as well. So speculation is now rife, particularly as the two companies are so closely tied, that Apple will be telling their employees that they need to be at their desks back at Apple Park as well. But whether it's going to be 5 days a week or still the hybrid situation, which has been talked about for a long time now, so maybe 3 days or 4 days in the office and 1 or 2 days at home, but certainly it seems that the majority of time is going to have to be spent back at their physical desks at Apple Park, and certainly at Google come 4th of April. And that's all I've got for you, I'm afraid, this week, guys. We are out of time. I told you it was a busy old week. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Turn on all notifications as well to make sure you never miss another one of these videos. Get in touch with me on Twitter. You can DM me there, dtalkingtech, and let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to at the Apple event? It's only a few days away now. It's exciting times. The wait is nearly over. All of the speculation is a thing of the past, but let me know what you are looking forward to most. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.